Okay, we're going to lift the car into the air. If you have a lowered car, you may have to drive up onto some wood in order to get the jack under. So we lifted on the beam there and put our jack stand at the front, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Okay, so with the jack stands on each side, you want to go back and check that both of them are still good, because when you lift on one side, sometimes the other one starts to tilt. And so the idea here is we want to be high enough to get a 5-gallon bucket under here.
Next, you'll want to locate the water pump, and it's right here in the middle of the block. It's this pulley that has the 4 bolts on it right in the middle.
So now here's our water pump in the middle, and as you can see, this thing is shot. Okay, so it's completely loose. Okay, so with the belt, the inner belt still attached, we're going to break loose these 4 bolts. Okay, so we broke loose all these 4 10mm bolts, okay? And like I said, you want to keep the belt on for doing that so the pulley doesn't spin as easily. If you don't have the belt for some reason, then you can put another 10mm on the other side to hold it still and then break them loose one at a time. I've had to do that before too. Now we're going to remove the belt off of the water pump pulley. Okay, next we're going to push down on the tensioner to release the tension of the belt. And so what I like to do is, you can use a longer breaker bar. I like the 1/2-inch drive ratchets. It's big enough to have some leverage on, but still small enough to move around. But you can use the longer breaker bar if you want. But you're going to need this to go down to a 3/8-inch adapter so it fits inside of the tensioner here. So as you'll see here, you just put it inside, make sure it goes all the way in, because it will break it otherwise. And now when you push down on this, see how the tensioner releases the tension on the belt? So you push down, and then with your other hand you'll just take the belt off of the water pump pulley there. If you've pushed this down all the way and you still can't get the belt off of the water pump pulley because of the rim on it, you can also just take the belt off here underneath one of these smooth idlers, and that'll give you even more, and it'll be a lot more loose even, so that you can take that off. Okay, so we just removed the belt. You can see this poor guy, it's bad shape. So we're gonna finish taking off these 4 bolts, and it'll take off the water pump pulley. Okay, next we're going to drain the coolant system. Now on the radiator there usually is a little petcock screw, and it strips most of the time. And so the way that I like to do it is just remove this lower radiator hose. And there's typically a clamp here that you squeeze with pliers and then walk it off. In this case there's an aftermarket one, so we're just going to unscrew this to walk the band off. And then we're just going to twist the pipe and put it into our 5-gallon bucket. I'd also put down some cardboard, because inevitably we are going to be losing some coolant. It's going to splash everywhere. Okay, next we're going to remove our 13mm bolts. There's one here. That's a timing cover one, so don't worry about that one. Don't take that one out. It's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 down here at the bottom, if you can see that right there. And of course, you look at that bolt, it's jacked up. This is the fun of working on somebody else's car that's already been repaired. I don't know how I'm going to get that off. Okay, victory on that stripped bolt, 13mm with the 12-point fit on it just perfect. Okay, so all 4 bolts are out. Remember, that one's the timing cover one, so don't take that one out. And sometimes these just fall out, and sometimes they need a little persuasion. This one's rocking around a bit. Okay, so just wiggling it up and down. You can hit it with a rubber mallet or one of these sand hammers if you want. You can hit it from the top and then the bottom, top, bottom. As you can see, it'll wiggle, and eventually you'll just be able to pull it straight forward. Okay, so I hit it from the right, now on the left side, and there she comes. And here's some old water pump bearings right here that are falling out. Okay, next you want to take some Scotch pad and clean this mating surface really nice so it's super smooth, no chunks on it. Make sure that it's going to be a nice clean mating surface. You get some discoloration here. It's really smooth now. I've gone after it pretty good. And I mean, you don't want to shave it down to where now it's a different size, but just get it super clean for the new pump. Okay, so all the mating surfaces are clean. I went in right in that rim with a little wire brush too at the very bottom where the bolt, near where the bolts are for the water pump itself. Cleaned it out perfectly good, and now we're ready to put the new pump in. Now this part is optional, but I like to take a little RTV sealant. I mean, not even enough that you can even almost see it, and spread it with my finger all the way across underneath on this side of that gasket. And so that's just going to help with any pits or anything that's in the aluminum as it's going back into the block or into the metal. And so, I mean, it's a super, super light coating. You don't want to gob this up. And then just kind of wipe it clean with your finger, but just make sure that it has a small, small layer of that RTV. And I've done that on every water pump I've installed. And it's been good luck. I've never had any leaks. So, you know, in a used car application, I think that helps a lot just to help with the sealing. So just a very, very super light coat of that. And just wipe your hands clean here, and we'll go ahead and push this back in. Okay, so we put the water pump in place. It's still kind of loose, and then just started all of these bolts so that they're all in. They're still kind of loose, but we're going to make sure that this seats properly. And as we tighten this on, you're going to want to make sure to go kind of opposite here. This bolt, then that bolt, then this bolt, then the bottom one, kind of like a tire, and that'll help it seat properly. So work its way on, make sure that it gets in there good and flush, and just make sure you go even. And the best way to do that is opposite bolts. So don't just tighten one down over here, or it might not seat properly. Okay, so I'm continuing to tighten these down and just switching one bolt to the other, opposite ends. And you know, just as this one starts to get snug and a little bit firm, then go to the next one. And when that one's getting tight, go to the next one, then the one under it, and then just keep repeating itself. And you'll notice it'll, you know, once it's tight on one end, the other end will now be a little bit loose, so you just keep going back and forth. So that's how we're walking it on perfectly straight, and you can see just the smallest amount of that RTV coming out of the sides, and that's perfect. That's what we want to see, is just a nice small, you know, we don't want a huge peanut butter and jelly sandwich gob coming out. And so that's why we were really light on it, but you can see that as it's pushing it out, it's forming a nice seal in there, and that's going to really help it seal nicely. Okay, so we're all tight here. Opposite bolts, we just kept going and going, because remember, you go one round and now the other bolt might be loose again now that it's on tighter. So that was the key, just back and forth on these until they were all nice and tight. You want to make sure that the bearing spins, or the water pump spins freely. If you look at this one, probably when the bearing failed, this now went towards the engine a little bit. There's a plate in there that you'll see, and it probably against that, but just to make sure you have the right pump and everything, this should spin. There should be some resistance on it because it, you know, does have bearings, but if you can't move that, then there's a problem. So anyway, this is good and tight. You can see the nice coat of silicone coming in out the sides, and this bottom bolt, I think the reason why it was stripped is because this wrench is the best tool to put on there to get, you know, your little bit of a bendy head on it and get the angle right. I can tell what had happened is somebody was tightening it, and the socket slipped and it gouged the side of it. So I filed it down, and the rest of the bolt was okay. But anyway, new water pump is in. Okay, so our 4 water pump pulley bolts are back in, and we're going to tighten those down when the belt's back on. So they're in snug now. And so now we're just gonna put the belt back over this idler, and when the belt's back on, we'll be able to tighten down those 4 water pump pulley bolts. Okay, so now the belt routing, just as a review here, it should be coming off of the crankshaft here, around the power steering, all the way up over the alternator, underneath this idler pulley. Now sometimes the 96 to 98 and other years, sometimes it goes over this pulley and sometimes it goes under. So you'll want to just try to remember how you had taken it off. On this one, this is a 2001, it goes under this one. So then it goes around this pulley here, straight down, and then it wraps around the air conditioning compressor, up over the tensioner, then over here, over the water pump, and then it's going to go from here and then go down around the crankshaft, and then we're back where we started. So that's the orientation for the belt on the 2-valve Mustang GT. This is probably the same 99 through 04. There might be some slight differences. Okay, we had the water pump bolts for the pulley as tight as we could get them. Then we put the belt back on and then snugged them down more now that the belt is keeping them from spinning. And so just make sure that you get those good and tight so you don't have a loose water pump pulley. We popped our hose back up over the radiator and tightened that clamp down so it's good. Now we're going to fill and burp the cooling system, so you do want the front of the car up in the air. Okay, so now to fill the radiator again, what you're going to want to do is undo the clamp here and lift this hose up and pour the coolant into that hose so it goes directly into the radiator. Remove the cap here. Okay. And so you're going to fill coolant in here until it comes out of the spout here. Okay, and so that's how you'll know that it's full. You would also want to fill this up just to the fill level where it says to add coolant, but you don't want to go only into this reservoir or it's not going to fill the system. So once again, remove it here, hold this up, pour coolant into it so that it fills the radiator, and eventually coolant will come out of the other end. Once it's pretty much all the way full, you'll lose a little bit of coolant, but you'll hurry and just put that hose back on, tighten it down, make sure that it's filled here, and you can run the car with this off with the front wheels up in the air for about 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so start the car and turn it to full blast heat as high as it'll go, and that's going to get the coolant down into the heater core system so you don't have any air pockets. Full heat as high as it'll go. Check the level again, then drive the car around the block several times and keep just checking the coolant level. Then from that point on you can just keep adding it to this level, but we want to make sure that we've got the radiator all the way full and everything, so that's the process here, is make sure you lift this up, pour coolant into it to fill the whole radiator system, and it will eventually push coolant out this end, and that's how you know that it's full. And then we just went over and we lifted on the driver's side, and now we're going to lower it here on the passenger side with our blocks of wood here so that we don't hurt the side of the car since this car is lowered. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Just put it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks, guys.